the young, and the restless spoilers. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a wild Wednesday, and we have a ton of explosive Genoa City drama to unpack today. Grab your coffee, maybe a stress ball, and let's dive right into the madness. And I just have to start by saying I am exhausted. Honestly, watching this show lately is like running an emotional marathon on a treadmill. You put in all this work and stress, and you just end up right back where you started. So let's talk about the absolute insanity that just went down at the Newman Ranch. Because Nick Newman and Matt Clark finally had their big showdown, the confrontation we have all been waiting for. The moment where Nick was supposed to finally end this nightmare. And what happens? He just lets him go. He literally just walks away. I mean, let's be real here for a second. Nick had every single reason to end Matt Clark right then and there. A part of Nick desperately wanted to finish Matt off for good, and who could blame him? After everything Matt has done to this family, after the sheer terror he has inflicted on Sharon, on Noah, on Adam, and on Nick himself. But Nick stops. He stops because Matt is standing there, looking all confused, claiming he has amnesia. Amnesia. What were the writers thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well? We all know Matt is faking it. We saw him faking it when Noah beat the absolute living daylights out of him a few episodes ago. Noah saw right through the lies, punched him in the face, left him bleeding, and Matt just kept playing the victim card. And now Nick is buying into it, or maybe not buying into it, but letting his stupid moral compass get in the way. Nick realizes that taking out a guy who doesn't even remember his own crimes wouldn't bring him any real satisfaction. It wouldn't be justice. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. Nick is the golden boy. He always has to do the right thing, even when the right thing is the absolute most frustrating thing for us fans to watch. So he spares Matt's life. He leaves him there at the ranch. He just walks away and leaves the mess for Victor Newman to clean up. And speaking of Victor, what is the mustache going to do next? Because Victor is not constrained by Nick's pesky little morals. Victor has been dealing with this Matt Clark headache for way too long. Remember last week when Patty Williams went completely rogue? She got rejected by Matt, threw a massive tantrum because of her abandonment issues, and literally called Victor to demand $2 million for Matt's location. $2 million? So clearly Victor got his hands on Matt, brought him to the ranch, probably set this whole thing up for Nick to get his closure. But now that Nick is tapped out, Victor's the one holding the bag. Is Victor going to finish the job? I honestly hope so, but I doubt it, because guess who is coming back to town? Detective Burrow. Yes, you heard that right. Detective Burrow is returning to our screens in the next few days, which means the Genoa City Police Department is finally going to pretend to do their jobs. Burrow is definitely going to play a major role in whatever happens to Matt next. Maybe they actually arrest him for real this time. Maybe they put him in a psychiatric hold because of the amnesia. But whatever happens, it means Matt is going to be tied up in the legal system instead of just disappearing into one of Victor's secret prisons. And honestly, I am so tired of the legal loopholes on this show. Just lock him up and throw away the key. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger pattern here, because the real tragedy of this entire storyline isn't Matt Clark. It's Nick. My heart just breaks for Nick right now. The spoilers are confirming that Nick is finally going to start rehab. And thank God for that, because it is so desperately needed. The man has been completely falling apart before our very eyes. Let's just recap the absolute hell Nick has been through lately. The fentanyl, the cocaine, getting his drugs from Sienna Bacall, who turned out to be a psychotic, violently loyal follower of Matt Clark. I mean, how twisted is that? Matt was literally orchestrating Nick's destruction from the inside out, and it all culminated in that horrific night in Las Vegas. Matt locking Adam and Nick in that storage room. Nick overdosing, writhing in pain on the floor. Adam screaming for him to wake up. And then the crash, the car crash that will haunt my nightmares for weeks. Nick driving high, hallucinating, Matt standing in the middle of the road and plunging his car right off a cliff. I will never forget the scene at the hospital. Nikki Newman, the usually composed matriarch, just screaming in absolute despair, completely powerless, as the doctors told her Nick might have permanent brain damage. Victor standing there, silent, with pure hatred in his eyes. Victoria cornering Nick, forcing him to confess about Sienna. The entire Newman empire was shaking to its core because Nick, the rock of the family, had completely crumbled. So yes, his loved ones are stepping up. They're going to keep a much closer eye on him now. They are making sure he gets professional help. He is going to pack his bags and go to a facility to try and get his life back on track. But guys, I have to warn you, the notes I am getting, the whispers from the inside is, this is not going to be a quick fix. Y&R is not going to just send Nick away for 2 weeks and have him come back perfectly cured. The road ahead is going to be brutal. It is not going to be easy. Nick is going to put in a genuine effort to build a brighter future. He really is. He wants to be better for Sharon, for Noah, for Summer, for his parents, but there are going to be massive roadblocks. In other words, Nick's drug use is not over. I know, I hate it too. It makes me want to throw my remote at the TV. You guys on social media have been saying the same thing. We just want him to heal. But addiction doesn't work like that. And for once, the writers are actually playing the long game with a serious issue. There are going to be times coming up where Nick simply cannot resist the temptation. He is going to relapse. He is going to put his life in danger all over again. And worse, he is going to endanger the people he cares about most. Can you imagine? What if he is watching Aria? What if he is driving with Faith? What if he drags Sharon down into a dangerous situation again? Sharon has already been through so much trauma with Matt Clark holding her hostage at that abandoned gas station, watching Nick almost die in front of her. If Nick relapses and puts Sharon in the crosshairs again, I don't know if their relationship can survive it. I don't know if Noah can forgive him. It is just a ticking time bomb. Anything can happen when the next drug-related disaster strikes. But for now, at this very moment, we have to take the small victories. Nick is going to try. He is going to focus on his rehab for a little while. He is going to try to conquer the demons that Matt Clark woke up inside of him. Maybe I'm being too cynical. Maybe Nick will surprise us and fight off the cravings better than the spoilers suggest. But knowing this show and knowing how much they love to torture the Newman family, we are in for a very bumpy ride. I just hope that when the next disaster hits, Nick has enough strength left to survive it. Because if we have to watch Nicky scream in a hospital waiting room one more time, I think I might actually lose my mind. Anyway, that is where we are at. Nick spares Matt, Victor plots his next move, Burrow comes back to town, and Nick faces the hardest battle of his entire life in rehab. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you as frustrated as I am that Nick let Matt live? Do you think Victor is going to take matters into his own hands? And how are you feeling about this long, painful addiction storyline for Nick? I'll be reading your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next update.